Why, good morning. It's me, Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned In Tarot. And we are here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine, who doesn't want to talk maybe today, and the divine feminine. Maybe they both don't want to talk. To see what state they're in, and whatever state that energy is in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment. So if we want to see changes, we have to shift the energy inside of us first. We have to go in, we have to figure out, why do we act this way? Where is that coming from? Heal that and watch the people. Good morning, sunshine. Watch the people reflect that back to us. So today is Wednesday somehow. How did that happen? And it is time to do obstacles removed. So we're going to remove obstacles for the feminine energy and the masculine energy inside of yourself, which will also be reflected in your person. So remember, if you're identifying as one gender or another, throw that out and listen to both sides, because both sides apply to you and they will apply to your person, because this YouTube channel knows no gender. We just know the expression of energy. And we use gender normative sort of, I guess, like stereotypical elements that represent masculine and feminine, because when you have hard binary divisions with biological gender, the way that we have culturally, you separate into exaggerated versions of what is just an energy. All right. I don't know. I'm getting so technical this morning. I guess I'm feeling like just making sure it's very clear that you understand, because it makes more sense for you to be able to heal if you can embrace the parts of your person that you're chafing against and understand that those are coming from something within you and where you do the same thing. Okay. Let's start with the first card for the day. So this is going to set the theme for all of the messages here today. So the messages today that we hear, I can't with the readings from the last few days. I didn't do any yesterday, but I was watching some. So what would be for the highest good of all is that if the messages that we gained here today helped us remove the obstacles so that we could experience this. This is the Knight of Cups. This is an openness to receiving love and to giving love. This is the ability to flow with our feelings and express our emotions. If there's shadow in the Knight of Cups, it's that you can have a wishy-washy energy with this. You can be a little bit, inconsistent, not really sticking around. It has a similar energy to the Knight of Wands in that respect, because it's not as stable and reliable as the Knight of Pentacles, but it is, but I feel that what we're really needing to learn to do is to open ourselves to receive love. That's like the biggest feeling that I'm getting from this card today. So I'm sure this will pop up again, but keep that in your mind as when you walk away today, to be able to receive an offer, to be able to give offers to people in your life, not just the person you're focused on. That will help you move forward to the next level of ascension. Let's start with divine masculine energy, because when I was shuffling, he showed one card. Divine feminine did not show any cards today, but divine masculine showed one. So he's going first. We're going to take a look first at the... Oh my gosh, he does not want to talk. Literally, no. The general energy surrounding the block, where divine masculine is experiencing a block. He's really having a hard time talking today. Let's go. This is my job. Speak, sir, or forever hold your peace. Okay. So the general energy he's experiencing, we're using the Zombie Tarot in the head space and the Cosmic Tarot in the heart space. Both fantastic decks. And we're getting the Page of Swords upright in the head space. So there's curiosity in the Page of Swords and bravery, courage. And there's also spying, seeing, looking. And let me look a little bit more closely at this particular image. I'm just catching my eyes there. There's the butterflies on the wall, which is interesting because that's transformative. Then we see behind this, I love this little ginger kid. Oh my god, so adorable. With is it a hammer or a tomahawk? It's a hammer. And then drawing, a children's drawing here behind. So ready, like you see this, we're assuming this is like a zombie here. And this child, this is like all they have to be able to face off the zombie, but they're gonna try. It's like do or die kind of thing. It's very scary, but they're willing to do it. And then we have the Seven of Cups. Now this is an extremely interesting Seven of Cups because we have the masculine energy prostrate before all of these options, like can't even consider any of them, like just, you know, completely unable to make a choice when it's upright. This is a card where you're seeking advice, clarity, you're confused, you've got a lot of options, different options, etc. And so you're like looking for help or whatever. And all of the cups are filled with all the fantasies that you have, all these is you're like, and it can be a great card of opportunity and but in this case, it's like this divine couple right here and the self and the confusing journey of like how to, because this has been this journey of transformation, of learning, a journey of learning, but how to actually honor choosing the self while still being able to have that sacred union that is the leveling up that we're looking for. So there's that coming from this card. So ultimately, the general energy where divine masculine feels blocked, it's interesting. He's looking, he's spying, he's seeing. He's trying to deduce whether divine feminine has chosen him because he is completely at her mercy in this case. And he's trying to be brave and believe that she's choosing him and that this is just his she never barks. That it's just interesting because I'm pointing to like the I was gonna say the ghost, the shadow. Bowie, what's the matter? That's so weird. She never barks. Okay, so he's really scared that the divine feminine will not choose him or that she will choose another option. And he keeps looking to like reassure himself that she's going to choose him so that he can be brave enough to go forward. But needing to see that he's the one that she's choosing instead of going and just making the offer. This is what's keeping him from moving forward. He's staying in this immature energy where he's just watching and trying to face the fear, but he's like stuck in this energy. Okay. It's really weird. I rarely hear her make any sounds, much less barking. Are you trying to kill the broom? Hang on. I need to get her dental bone to deal with this. Bowie, can you leave the broom alone? Come here. Do you want your bone? Now that you killed the evil broom, come on. Ooh. Can you lay down? Sit. Lay down. Good girl. Okay, sorry about it. All right, so that's the general energy. Working up the courage. Also, I think to not only he's like stuck because he needs to see that divine feminine is not making any other options, but also to put all of his other options down, right? Okay. Here's the actual block. The Hierophant, upright in the headspace, and Justice in the heart space. It would be really hard for me to say that this block is not marriage. If I was like, oh, this block isn't marriage, I would be wrong. But it is a block right now. And it's not so there could be, this is a collective reading, so there could be a few different things happening. There's this one specific feeling that I get, that the experience of controlling energy, the feeling of being trapped in a past binding legal contract, a marriage contract, job contracts, things that can't be broken without financial repercussions, or worse in some cases. There's this fear of this, of the seriousness, the finality, the traditions too. This is the other thing. So that's one layer. Another layer is that some masculine energy wants to be very traditional, and it's needing everything to be like just so in order to approach the feminine energy, needing all of the things worked out, the pieces of the puzzle worked out. And for some, it could be they actually have some legal contracts, or they have something in their agreements or judgments from divorces, just different things. You know, like some people have like they receive spousal support until they get married, and then if they get married, their spousal support will end. So there's like different things like that are just at play here that could function as a block. And then the third layer is traditional beliefs and mindsets, or rigid belief systems by really rigid authority, like controlling authority, like being a part of being only able to be married to somebody that's within your faith, having some kind of a big rule like that, or being afraid of being, there's something about being seen by this higher authority to do something. So this is, all of these different things could be functioning here as a block. So let's get more information. Where did this block originate for the masculine energy? We're getting the Two of Wands in the head space and the Three of Pentacles in the heart space. So the Two of Wands is associated with the twin flame journey, but it's a card about asking for something and then having to wait to receive it. It can be about trying to plan or figure things out, even though there's really nothing you can do. It's like you're waiting for something and you're spinning your wheels trying to figure out how to get it. Even though that's not your job. Your job is to be patient and like get into that Three of Wands energy where you see the pieces falling into place because you have faith that it's going to work out. So the Two of Wands is where you're like trying to develop that faith. And then the Three of Pentacles is about partnerships and being, and the 3D, like the material world. It's about working. It can be about working together or working solo, depending on its positioning and the imagery that comes with the card. In this case, what I'm sensing is that one of the issues where this block of marriage and legal issues is originating is having something to do with it could be these material world, like this binding material world stuff that has to be waited on, like having to wait for things to be completed, finished, worked out. And in this particular card, we have this pretty scary zombie that's got like a bone in its mouth, and we're seeing these directions. It's like it's almost like the universe is telling these individuals how to get away from this threatening element here. So there's some threatening thing for some in the collective that is in divine masculine's mind, like a, and it could be, this could be, in this image we see a boy and an elder here running, okay? And so it's almost like this is the monster, like the toxicity that the masculine has, or was in his life or something. And there's something about the inner child and maturing, or like getting rid of this toxicity. I don't know. I'm getting some different stuff coming up from that. Interesting. All right, let's move on. So the next position is, how is this block currently manifesting in the 3D? We're getting the strength card upright in the head space, and then some overfeeling in the heart space. We're getting the 6 of Cups in reverse along with the 8 of Cups. Okay. So this is good. Okay. It's funny because sometimes the block, it's a good thing. It is forcing the masculine to believe in his own strength, to be strong, to control his ego, which is like his fears and anxieties, which in this case, we're seeing that they're giving this information here that it's likely, we're getting the zombie story. This is some information that is gained. Remember, from the Hierophant card in this deck, we see rescue station, okay? This is an information, because the Hierophant is about higher level authority. So this is like the authorities that are saying, here's how you can be rescued. It's also about faith. So divine masculine overall block is like having faith in justice, having faith in karma, having faith in this balancing that he's been doing. So that's the spiritual essence of the block that's manifesting as some of the ways that I was describing before. But ultimately, this information that we're assuming from the story, they're saying this is where you go to be rescued, because it's saying this different places where you can be picked up to be rescued here from this zombie, right? The zombie apocalypse that's happening, okay? And then in this card, it's like you're getting information on how to kill the zombie. I'm assuming they're saying like, you have to put a bullet in the zombie brain or whatever to be able to get away from them or something. So divine masculine has what he needs, the information he needs, and we're assuming the weapons he needs, the control he needs to be able to fight off that toxicity that was overwhelming and wounded his inner child and caused his maturation process to be halted. Then we're seeing the 8 of Cups and the 6 of Cups. And so this can be a couple of things. It can be that this masculine has chosen to walk away from past marriage, because we saw the past marriage things come up in that block. It's this gave him the strength to do this or something, like facing this block has given him the strength to do this. The other thing that I'm seeing, though, a little bit more strongly is that because we're not seeing the masculine walk in this picture, we're actually seeing the masculine energy sitting there contemplating this cup. And there's another one here behind him, and then the rest of the cups. There's actually a bunch. There's 2 there. There's this one, there's here, and there's all the spilled ones on the ground. So what I think has happened is that divine feminine, right, who's often associated with the strength card, she has had the strength to take action because divine masculine did not. Remember, this block is waiting, right? Not taking action, not working in partnership, not collaborating. So divine feminine walked away, and we're actually seeing from the perspective of what she's walked away from, because that's that Six of Cups, that reunion. The divine feminine has been like, okay, I'm going to be the strong one. I'm not going to sit here in this holding pattern where you fear this, this rigid belief system you have, or whatever limiting thing, or you don't have faith in this marriage, or whatever it is. I'm going to keep it pushing. And the divine masculine is now left here contemplating that, losing that past relationship. So, what will help to remove the block? This is the Four of Cups, and we keep getting this card for the masculine energy, and it's come up in a kind of a not so great way in the last few days, but it is coming out with the Sun. And the messages that kept coming up for this Four of Cups in the last few days, when we've seen the last week, or however long I've been using this since Halloween, I guess, 7:44 on the clock right now, is that this behavior here, where the masculine is healthy and doing well, but using the fantasy of the feminine's nurturing and this, using that future potential, that dream of their happiness, to breadcrumb the feminine and keep her from leaving and draining her, etc. That's how it's come up, and it's been like not a great thing. But the Four of Cups is about not accepting an offer, not seeing an offer. It's about meditation. It's about grounding in nature. It's not just about fantasy. And this is coming out with the Sun and a healed inner child. So my strong feeling is that for the masculine, developing his own nurturing skills, his own feminine nurturing skills, which has been difficult because I believe the ultimate nurturer, perhaps the maternal caregiver, or it might not have been his caregiver, but someone down the line, was very distorted. So the inner child was like running away. That is what the inner child knows to do. You run away from the things you're afraid of, from the toxic energy, because there's not a safe place at home. Okay. So the divine masculine, in order to remove this current fear, first of all, he needs to stop fantasizing about awful things and think about what he wants. He needs to think about happiness, joy, bliss, spiritual fulfillment, etc. That's where he needs to be focused, and he needs to have enlightenment about that dynamic that I just described, which I believe he has, because this is in his headspace, and he needs to give the offer of happiness that he's intending to the feminine energy and stop withholding it. Who or what should I release from my past to move on? We are getting the Star in the headspace and the Ace of Swords in the heart space. Very interesting. The Star says Zombie Slayer, Medal of Honor. And the sword that did the slaying. I think this is about keeping things hidden. Ideas about what you'll have to do in order to tell the truth. This divine masculine thinks he has to single-handedly slay, right? All the zombies, right? To be able to win here, it's like if he's being watched over by some kind of past energy, let's say, He feels he has to like cut that down or slay that energy and hide his true wishes and desires in order to be able to actually have what he wants. I think what I'm also seeing is that divine masculine has always kept this star, the feminine energy, because the star is associated with the feminine and the vulnerability. He's kept this as something that's a future. It's like, I'll be vulnerable later. I'll be vulnerable after I've slayed all the zombies. That's when I'll do it. In the future. What can I learn from this current pause? This is also about putting divine feminine on a pedestal. So having to release this, always putting her up, holier than thou kind of thing. I mean, she's very beautiful. But she's not, you gotta, you're beautiful too, okay? I mean, all right, let's go, ego. So this is, what am I learning from this current pause? Now, divine masculine seems to be learning a lot from this current pause. He is learning the Page of Wands. Oh, shit. And the Chariot. In the headspace. Oh, my fuck. Is not going to swear and then is like, nope, just swear. And Judgment. And the 10 of Cups in the heart space. Be still, my beating heart. Take as long as you need, my dear. Hello, Kurt Adams. Take as long as you need, divine masculine, if this is what you're currently learning, because these are the lessons that this divine feminine needs to see you learn in order to end in union with you, if that is what you still desire. This Page of Wands is about like having a new idea or a new ability, new inspiration about how to move forward, how to move to the next level with this Chariot card. And balancing the self. This is twin flame union, because the team works together and is directed by the divine in that process. In the heart, this is forgiveness of the self, reconciliation, and forgiveness from the feminine energy. And it's understanding spiritual fulfillment in the integration of feminine energy inside of self, so that there's no more oppression or suppression of the feminine energy, which has kept you from connecting to that higher power, to that intuition. So this is like coming to Jesus here, is what you're learning in this current pause. But you're getting some inspiration. You're getting new ideas about how to take things to the next level. And you're really reconciling what your 10 of Cups constitutes, which is gorgeous. And then we're getting, what can I look forward to once this is my favorite. The 10 of Cups. 3 of Cups. I'm sorry. The 3 of Cups, I meant to say. And the Queen of Swords in reverse. But clearly that's my 10 of Cups. This is multi-layered. This is union with the feminine. And we see a marriage there, obviously. But we see the feminine energy releasing her resistance to the masculine, no longer cutting him off, cutting him out, blocking him, keeping a boundary, but actually lowering the defenses. So the divine masculine energy is looking forward to being able to actually come into union and celebrate with the feminine. That's one overarching layer. The other layer is that if this past Hierophant, justice energy, etc., had anything to do with a past long-term partner, an ex-wife, etc., ex-partner, that partner will be cut out. There's no more third-party energy interference. And that includes other things that aren't necessarily a partner. It could be the belief system we were talking about. That third party energy is cut away. The fears about it, or the bondage to it, that's cut away. The any other options at all, any other, like the Seven of Cups, right, in reverse, this is choosing the feminine. It's just all other options are gone. And of course, that results in the ability to come in to union. Okay, let's get working on that block then. Just, come and give me the offer and be happy, and your block is gone and problem solved. And I'm hungry. Let's go get brunch. Okay. Let's see. Let's go now to the divine feminine side of self. And we're going to look at her general energy surrounding her block. What's really interesting is the feeling part of this. Okay, so the headspace for divine feminine, we're using Mystic Mondays, and we're getting the Queen of Cups. She is upright. And in the heart space in reverse, we're getting the Five of Wands in reverse, which I said already and now feel weird and have to say again. And this is from the Ostara Tarot, and it uses the snake energy here to represent this Five of Wands. And the reversal on it is a releasing of an internal struggle. So while divine feminine is blocked right now, because we're looking at where she's blocked, the general energy surrounding it is that she is feeling she is not wanting to struggle against her emotions. There is something that she deeply desires and longs for, and 7:55 on the clock, and she denies herself this these feelings, I believe, or she has been denying herself these feelings. And so she's not wanting to struggle against her loving, compassionate, psychic, intuitive feelings about the masculine energy. Okay, that's definitely the feeling that I'm getting. This can also be about her. This can be about, so this has the Four of Wands in it, right? But then there's an additional wand. And so it can represent having to clean up karmic messes, like another energy that's involved, career, person, it doesn't matter what it is, but just something else that needs to be cleaned up or cleared up. And she's feeling compassionate about that process. So the divine feminine is actually really loving and heart-centered. Her energy around the block isn't that resistant, to be honest, which is good. We're not seeing her. We're seeing this intuition, because even the block itself is interesting. We're getting the moon in the headspace and the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So I know that the block is that there is still this subconscious, deeply embedded limiting belief about lack mentality that she is working to release. And this is just feeling like she cannot be with the twin. This is believing that she can't be with the twin. That's what I'm getting. That she can't have that love, that she can't have that affection, that there's that doubt or that fear that it isn't meant to be, that she's going to stay out in the cold alone. Like this is like her on an iceberg, it looks like. And we even see her here in that same sort of energy, right? So it's just, I'm afraid this won't end. I'm afraid he won't bring me in the sanctuary. I'm afraid there won't be love there. Or I'm afraid I could lose everything. Where did this block originate? The Four of Pentacles upright in the headspace, and the Three of Wands in the heart space. So This block is coming from a divine feminine having to wait to feel this solid foundation and basically like being here and seeing these ships. But in this picture, they're not coming in, they're just going around and around and around and around and around, and having to let go of that attachment to when this thing was going to arrive. So this watching and waiting and not being able to let go, holding on, clinging so tightly to the arrival of the ships, this built this fear in because she kept noticing that it wasn't happening. It's still not happening. It's still not happening. It's still not happening. Maybe it's not going to happen. It's not happening. It didn't happen. It didn't happen before. It didn't happen the time before that. It's not happening now. So maybe it's not going to happen. And then clinging to that perpetual cycle of like, I can see it. Oh, it's not coming in though. I see it though. So it's not this. I see it. It's like created this new belief now that is embedded there in her subconscious that the journey is just about that it's just about like, oh, I almost got it. Oh, I almost got it. But it's not really about actually getting it. How is this block currently manifesting in the 3D? Overthinking, overfeeling, both of you today. The Page of Wands, which we saw for Divine Masculine, was one of the things that he was learning, right? The High Priestess in reverse. And we're going to go through these one by one. The Knight of Swords in reverse and the Tower in reverse. Okay, so the way that this block is manifesting is the Divine Feminine is... she's potentially being very immature in how she's communicating. She's doubting herself. She's not necessarily trusting her intuition. That's the block itself, right? This is the Divine Feminine she is the High Priestess is the goddess of the moon. So this is like another element of that moon energy. It could be causing her to come up with new ideas, but those ideas are coming from the headspace, not from the heart. So she's trying to mentalize, like, well, maybe why is it taking so long? Is it because of this or that or the other thing? When over here we saw for Divine Masculine, there is the block that's causing the delay. And the block for him has to do with some kind of legal issues potentially, or authority figures, or the authority those fears and beliefs have over him. And so Divine Feminine's over here on this side trying to like get these ideas about what it is that is causing the delay, but she's not really tuning into her heart. She's more tuned into the ego, kind of an immature sort of a thing. And she's maybe like just wanting to just abandon this twin flame journey, her intuitions about it, and just start fresh in some new way. And she's not being honest with herself. This Knight of Swords is in reverse because she's not seeing this masculine come swiftly with the truth and direct and everything. She's like, well, maybe this journey is not even real, or it's not even supposed to happen this way. And then this Tower in reverse is this really resisting, releasing this need to see this masculine. So much on my TikToks, people will be like, well, let me see it. Show me the money. And I feel that, right? I'm one of the feminine energy that's waiting for the masculine action. So I can feel those feelings, but I know intuitively that when I see those comments, the healer part of me that is separate from my ego, that tuned in part of me is always like, oh, because that feeling of like, I need to see it, or I just need, a lot of people, I just need this to be true. I claim this, I need this to be true. That's when I know that person is going to wait longer because they have to feel that urgency dissipate, because the urgency is what's keeping them in the cycle that I was explaining here, where they're just watching the ships go round and round. It's like needing the ships to come in that keeps them just circling there. You can't need them. So divine feminine is, she's resisting releasing this attachment to seeing the masculine. She's really kind of being immature. My ego is like, what do you expect? Okay, what do you expect? Like, I've been doing this for like so long. It's like, all right, we don't need your whole sob story. You're just being childish. Okay, deal with it. Okay, what will remove the block? The Four of Swords in reverse. And I do believe this is the Six of Cups in reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. And those are cups. Yes. Okay. Ostara is like a very unusual imagery. Let me just double check that it is the Six of Cups before I tell you that. But the Four of Swords in reverse is a card about awakening. It is about expression. Yeah, this is the Six of Cups. So what will help remove this block is this can be resisting moving on. This can be resisting the grief of moving on from this person, because this person can't come in as long as you're noticing they're not coming in. They just can't. It's just you in the back seat of the car. You just got buckled in. You're not even out the driveway yet, and you're like, "Are we there yet?" And it's like a 12-hour drive, you know? And it's going to feel like 17,000 days of driving if you keep asking if you're there yet, versus if you just stop resisting, fully letting go, just feeling the grief of not being able to have the ships right now. Those ships are circling in the bay. For whatever reason, they can't come in right now, and you just have to fully walk away. So there's that element. There's also I do feel that divine feminine needs to express herself too about the desire for the reunion. I think that it's something she either hides from herself or others, or doesn't completely communicate it. All right. Then we have more overthinking and overfeeling for the feminine. And who or what should I release from my past to move on? Okay. We are getting the Seven of Wands in reverse. Wow, babe. The World in reverse. Holy shit. The Nine of Pentacles in reverse. The Six of Swords. All right. Okay. All right. You're going to have to chill out for the rest of the reading, babes. So the Seven of Wands can be a card about healthy boundaries. It can be a card about unhealthy boundaries. When it's in its reverse, it can be about being defenseless or not standing your ground. It can also be about really needing to release defensive energy. The World is about cycles, completion, things ending. And in reverse, it's about not completing something. not ending something, continuing to do something. So for me, I actually think you're not fighting for yourself somehow, and continuing to do that, continuing to fight for the connection, but not fight for yourself and your needs within the connection. There's something there about that. And then the Nine of Pentacles is usually about being attached to a specific person. So associating a specific person with the twin flame label. What if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? You have to accept that you might not know exactly what your material abundance rewards constitute here. What if you're fighting for something that isn't meant to work out and you just won't stop doing that? And then finally, the final behavior is the Six of Swords. And this is a card that's about leaving the struggle and the strife behind and going to another shore, even though you're uncertain about that shore. In this particular image, though, we have this temptation lingering here to stay in the past. Or to run from your past. There could also be that element too, to run from the past rather than stand and complete the cycle and actually receive the reward. You just keep trying to move on because you're really just trying to get what you want, right? The material, the self-indulgence. I want what I want when I want it. That's where the immaturity is coming in. Now, the ego is important. The immaturity that's coming from this egotistical, I want what I want when I want, it's important because it's making sure that our worthiness is acknowledged somehow, okay? It's doing it in a distorted way because it's like having a self-driving car that, was designed by not a smart cookie, all right? Like somebody really arrogant, 811 on the clock, really thought they knew everything about everything and they don't know nothing about nothing. And so their car doesn't work that well. And it's just blundering all over the place, going to get into an accident. You need to tune in to the intuition and then allow the spirit to be the GPS for the car. All right. So let's go to the next position, which is what am I learning? No, what can I learn from this current pause? No shit. The Lovers upright in the headspace and the 10 of Pentacles, which was the theme that we did on Monday. So the 10 of Pentacles, this is an interesting image because they show an octopus in this image and they show these little baby, it's weird because they're like pudica, but which are those little baby angel things, but they have octopus butts. Like I'm not exactly sure what's going on here in this card. But there is I always sense a clinging energy because of that. Octopus makes me think of clinging to things. But the upright position on this for me is more just that there are these many moving parts. There are these many, there are many ways to achieve our material happiness. There are, many, and it's like it's a sticky energy too, like an energy that allows things to like attract and stick to you or something like that is coming up for me. So not being limited, I guess, in this one experience, but at the same time, allowing yourself to want what you want. This is such an interesting balance that the feminine has to navigate because in the one hand, demanding things be the way we want them is blocking us from being with our person. On the other hand, the block is not believing you can be with your person. So, what we're learning how to do is to navigate the clinging energy where you get to have the person that you desire, but it doesn't have to obey your rules. Okay? That's what you're learning. And you're learning that you can find your material happiness in these loving connections. Why are you into this room so much? I don't know. I'm not really that upset about it, but it's just strange. Okay, let's see. What can I look forward to once the obstacle is removed? Okay. We are getting the Eight of Swords upright in the headspace, which is interesting. But what's coming out in the heart space is the Three of Swords in reverse and the Four of Wands. So what I'm seeing is, if we're looking at the Eight of Swords in the light, it's a card that when it comes out, when it's in its shadow, we're looking at protecting yourself from success, not being ready to receive it yet, being a little afraid you can't handle it, or that you're going to lose it somehow, and sort of being trapped in a mental prison of those thoughts and going within and kind of like not seeing the reality of things around you. That's the shadow. So the light of the card, though, is one about healthy boundaries. It's one about protecting yourself from things that actually are harmful. In this case, we're seeing hurting ourselves by who we choose, like choosing emotionally unavailable people, for instance. Having an interesting experience of getting to know someone and they are very emotionally available, and it's strange. And it's just, I'm like, that's how I am. I'm very emotionally available. So it's just odd to experience it, because I've experienced the twin dynamic, not just with my twin, but in almost every permutation of the relationships I've been experiencing since I was in high school. So to step out of that mental prison where all relationships unfold in that, whatever it is, secretive guessing game way, where the person can't really connect with you because they don't connect with their feelings or they don't understand. Okay, I gotta remove this. It's too loud. All right, we've got so many toys to play with, so I hope that you can find another one that will be just as much fun as that one. What about that? Oh yeah, check that out. Cool. Sorry about that. Oh Lord. When the sound is like all you can hear eventually. So I did lose what I was saying, but regardless, this is a good thing. Divine Feminine no longer hurting herself, no longer protecting herself from the twin flame union. Because right now, Divine Feminine is hurting herself by denying some aspect of that journey. It doesn't mean by denying the person or access to the person. It's denying some aspect of it. And you have, for each person, you have to look at like what that is. But ultimately, this is the marriage that we're seeing the block of the masculine side being stuck on, and the feminine releasing these fears that she's not going to have enough, or that there's not going to be enough love, or that this is not going to end, or whatever this is. That opens up the ability to unblock that masculine side of self to follow through. Okay, let's go to the oracles and help them unblock now. Divine Feminine. No, we're starting with Divine Masculine because we did Divine Masculine. Divine Masculine. Let's see. Divine Masculine, you are in the light attributes of the slave energy today. So you are surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust. That's so beautiful because we see that that's so true. This card is about surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust. And before, it was having all these options and thinking you knew. exactly like that you were the one that was supposed to make the choice and get it right. And now you're just feeling that you can't really get it wrong and you'll never get it done. And the universe is taking care of it all. So that's a beautiful energy. You're also no longer giving your willpower to an external authority. So that authority that's blocking you, you're actually in the light because you're not giving your power to that authority. This is switched over from the feminine side to your side today. This is Saint Dymphna. She's here on your side now to help you with this energy of being guided by your emotions and feelings. This can be hermit energy. And this usually for me is her guiding you out of hermit energy because it's getting to the heart of that energy, which is understanding that how I feel is an indication of what I'm thinking. And what I'm thinking is an indication of what I'm feeling. And if I can balance it out with logic and intuition, I can find my way through this darkness. And you're able to do this right now in Divine Masculine very effectively. And if you need help, you can call on Saint Dymphna. The Archangel Michael is here granting you confidence. And confidence is really all you need to be able to come in. This feminine is ready for it. She is in her most compassionate energy right now, releasing this internal struggle. This is what she wants to do. She doesn't want to struggle against you or this union anymore. Her block is that believing that she can't have it, deeply, deeply believing that she can't have it, and she doesn't want to struggle against that. She wants to be able to believe that you can come in. So if you can come in and claim her, she's yours. Your hard work is paying off, Divine Masculine. This was in reverse and you got called out. And I think you were like, all right, well, I'll do my meditation. I'll do my journaling. I'll do what I need to do. And got back in there and started doing that hard work. And you're seeing the payoff. Learn from the past. The elephant in the room, Divine Masculine, on your side of the spread is this past energy that's haunting you, that's making you feel watched over, controlled, fearful that the feminine is going to do the things that were done to you in the past or whatever. But you need to learn from the past. You need to take the lessons that you've gleaned from it and then put it down. Wow, this card keeps coming up, so I'm definitely going to read it. This says, I hold purity in high esteem. This is from the Amenti Oracle, Living with a Feather Heart, the 42 Ideals of Ma'at in Daily Life. And this is a card that does talk about purity in terms of our bodies, but it's a little bit more in depth than that. So let me just share it with you here. What is it? I hold my purity. Yeah, I hold. Where are you? 20. Okay. This says, purity is the state in which a substance is free from contamination, pollution, or anything that debases the matter materialized. Out of context, the notion of this ideal may evoke feelings and memories tied to overzealous philosophies on chastity, abstinence, or other dogmatic tenets of belief. This is on Divine Masculine side here. But contextualized as an ideal in relationship with perennial philosophy and the embodiment of nature as the manifested energies of the universe, we may be reminded that purity is something to be held in esteem, so that the inner spirit is refined enough for the soul of the natural world to reverberate through conscious awareness. So the last thing this says is, I'm learning how to cleanse, activate, and purify our life force centers. In learning how to do this, we accelerate our awareness and ascension into higher learning. Esteeming purity aligns with knowing the body to be a temple, a sacred place, which must be cared for and valued as the house our wisdom and spirit occupy. Because as the great William Blake once wrote, if the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite. Beautiful energy for the masculine. All right. The healing card for the masculine today is a familiar one. It is death and transmigration. This is letting those fears from the ego die and being reborn. And it's letting go and surrendering. Your tendency for control does not serve you anymore. New life awaits, and you are ready to move on and trust. That's the energy for the masculine here. The final theme for the masculine this week is the Hanged Man, perspective. And I'm not getting an overwhelming sense of the divine masculine needing to watch and wait. I'm getting the same message I just got from this card, which is surrender, control, and let go. It is not stay in a pause of a hanged man and don't do anything. It is surrender, control, and let go. And if you do that, what you have been doing, which is staying paused and not doing anything, the perspective that you have gained through this time, through that pause, right? What was the perspective? What was what you were learning? Surrendering control in the Chariot energy, reconciling, having that bliss fulfillment. Do it up, divine masculine. Let's see it. I will love it for you. All right, feminine energy, your turn. You are in the light attributes of the addict. You are recognizing and confronting addictive behavior. This is most likely to do with the twin. Being focused on the twin is the worst thing. It's the worst. It's very hard not to do it because of the call you feel, the pull, the drive to do it. But as you start to heal, you start to realize that you focused on the twin because you believed that the twin loved you. Now, there's always like, does he love me? Does this person love me? But you do believe it. And your belief in that connection, that feeling of love that you know they feel, that makes your worthiness seem relevant where it didn't before. So you focus on this person because believing that they love you makes you believe that you are lovable, okay? But they are not able to come forward for whatever reason, most likely because they are in the same exact position that you are in. They focus on you for the same reason that you do. And so you're not able to come together because you are needing the other person to validate that you love that you're worthy of love while not loving yourself. That's the whole nature. That's the whole reason why it's like, why is it this and that and the other thing? It's what I just said. So when you're constantly looking at that person in order to feel your own worthiness, you need that to make you feel like you like to keep going. It's a drug. It's just like anything else. And when you face that, when you recognize that and confront it, then you can start to do the healing work that will start to untangle the blockages that you are having, keeping you from that specific person and anyone else. So you're doing that really well right now. You're confronting that behavior. You're no longer numbing your emotions or feeling overwhelmed by them. You can control how they hit you. You control how they wash over you. Saint Cecilia is with you right now with this play music card. And today's my music day. So I have my bass player coming over for our normal, we're actually rehearsing today for live shows because we're going to start doing live shows. And so this is really resonating with me. But if you are a musician, this is a call to go into your craft. If you're in the arts in some way, be creative, allow yourself to be in that expression. Listen to music, listen to the messages that came from the songs today. It was, I said it in my YouTube or in my Instagram stories, but it was American Wasteland by Beck, and what was the other song? It was, let me look. Lady Macbeth and Chains by Sufjan Stevens. So if you want to have more messages, those are the songs that came up today. Listen to your own music, ask for messages through them, and just allow that the creativity to flow through you. You're receiving a lot of blessings right now and giving a lot of blessings, but you have that that light in your hands here. There's like a healer energy about you. You are blessed. You probably have gifts of healing, most likely, if you're in this collective. And it is this divine feminine energy. This could also be a blessing of healing of the divine feminine energy. Divine feminine, be bold and make the first move. Somewhere in your life, this is true. This, honestly, it could be in regards to this masculine. I know you don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. My ego is like, oh, fuck you. Fuck you for that. Fuck you for saying that. But that's your ego, right? And we know that what was currently happening is that there was this immature energy, right? Of not communicating directly. You're doing now what the masculine was doing, right? So there might be a need to shift that, to express that you actually do desire to have this reunion. I'm just like, why would I need to say that? Why would I need to say, hi, I would really still like to reunite with you? How do you not know that? How do you not know that? It's because the feminine energy inside of self doesn't believe in the intuition that they're receiving and doubts that they're actually going to be able to come in out of the cold. This is true for you, and this is true for your person. And so if you need reassurance, then I'm sure your person does too. Well, let me reassure you, my person, that I absolutely want to come into union with you. 100 million, billion, trillion %. If you're unclear, okay? So yeah, be bold and make the first move. I highly recommend that you look in your life where you need to make a move that is not for the relationship that you're focused on, if you're here for a relationship. And I think you should do that regardless of what I just said first. If you decide to communicate with your twin, that's fine. It's up to you. I'm not telling anybody to do anything. Like, really, this is just the advice that's coming through spirit. But my advice that I'm feeling is that you need to be bold in your life in some way. Once you have taken that move, and it's going to be clear, the timing will be clear, then you will probably feel the opportunity arise where you can make a move in communication. And maybe you won't have to. Maybe something will happen even before that, because I just feel that you taking this bold action will translate to your person also doing this in some way. Now, interesting that the masculine got the Hanged Man as his theme, and the divine feminine is getting the Hanged Man energy in reverse, pretty much coming up from this seahorse spirit, Watch and Wait. And I'm actually going to pull it because I can't remember the protection message for this card, and I want to check it. It's number 53 in this Colette Baron Reed Spirit Animal Oracle. And it says, are you holding on to judgment? Oh my fucking God. Sure that your perspective is the only correct way to look at things. There are as many perspectives as there are creatures in the sea. And when Seahorse Spirit appears, you're reminded to detach from the experience so you can view it from more than one angle. Pay attention to your hidden beliefs and how they affect the way you think and feel and act. Are you being fair to all involved, or do you need to step back? Perhaps the drama you have been drawn into is your own. Whatever the actions of others, your challenge is to be non-reactive and not take their words or behaviors personally. Their turbulence may have little to do with you, so remain neutral until you know more. Your perspective may be quite different in time. I'm just not going to say anything because my ego is still just too present. Okay. I advance through my own abilities, Divine Feminine. I love this energy for you. Let's look this up for you. I advance through my own abilities. Where are you? What page? Why didn't they just put the number on the card? We all are wondering why wouldn't they just do that? It's not even in alphabetical order. There it is, 41. Nope, the number of the card, not the page number. Also that. I do really like this deck, though. It's beautiful. The book is really good, too. But can we get to page 41, please? I earned to card 41. Thank you. All right. In Duat. That's to make prayer. As the soul prepares for the weighing of the heart on the scales of Ma'at. The first of the negative confessions within the papyrus of Ani is, I have not committed sin. Sin, contextually speaking, relates to the action of an immoral transgression against divine law. Not a law that has been created, but a law that has been embodied by the Creator. Ma'at serves the capstone of the moral pyramid of the soul, her all-seeing eye with crystalline vision into the spirit of the temple of the human soul. Sin as an action is to be without, to be out of alignment with creation, to lack honor and honesty and deviate from divine will. But what is the will of the divine? Hermeticism speaks of the notion of all truths being half false and every falsehood being half true. This can be seen and understood when looking at the Devil card and the Lovers in the Rider-Waite system of tarot. At first glance, one may view the Devil card as the representation of pure evil, darkness, and all things relating to fear. But upon closer examination, we find that while related to the denser qualities of the life experience, the true meaning of that card is what we allow to bind us to lesser worlds. The Devil, with the inverted pentagram, represents forcing will into existence by inverting natural law. The chains worn around the neck of the man and woman standing underneath the Devil's throne are loose enough for either to take off at any time. Yet out of fear they remain shackled. Their desires have inverted their natural instincts and the inherent wisdom of love as the fuel of the divine and the vehicle with which you may journey into any desire, as long as it is rooted in true wisdom of the heart. The Lovers is the opposing card to Devil. And while some may interpret this card as the notion of lovers in the sense of a romantic relationship, metaphorically speaking, it relates to the alchemical force that radiates in your actions and desires. When love takes precedence over fear and wisdom is the primary desire, manifestations fluidly materialize with ease as the light of the sun radiates vision onto the path ahead. In applying these metaphors to advancing through your own abilities, one must remember the root of each desire we wish to advance toward and ask if it is aligned with love or with fear. When a desire is fear-based, it may cause sinful actions, such as lies, deceit, cheating, and the use of darker forces, which ultimately stain the spirit, weigh down the heart, and lose the light of divine harmony, in the void of ego's need for validation. However, if a desire is based in love, then we are in tune with nature's song, the will of Ma'at, the lightness of being, and the visionary state of virtue. The infinite expansiveness of imagination allows for heaven on earth as we find faith in our own abilities, love being the will of the divine, creativity being the soul expressed in such a way that allows every spirit to soar toward freedom with a feather heart liberated from fear of judgment. Dang! That was really profound for the feminine energy and resonated a lot with this reading. Really cool deck. Divine Feminine, your healing energy is tree people, sustenance. So let's get your message from the shamanic, what's this? Shamanic medicine. This is consider your footprint on the world around you. seek a better way to do things. Vital signs and omens are found out in nature. So this is about having like ancient knowledge you can sustain yourself from, that's coming from your ancestors. And it's like, it's really encouraging you to become much more grounded, stand tall, right? That Seven of Wands was in reverse and something that needed to be let go. You need to stand tall and be fully grounded in yourself. And then Divine Feminine, your theme for this week is satiety, the 10 of Cups. It is understanding that satisfaction comes not from the material fulfillment that you are thinking that it comes from. It comes from the journey. You're satiated by quenching your thirst through that connection to the divine, through constantly tuning into the essence of what you desire and materializing that, rather than getting happiness and fulfillment from the material things. If material things gave you happiness and fulfillment, you'd be happy right now, because in your environment right now, there are, I'm guaranteeing you, many material things. It's highly unlikely that you would be watching this with me if you don't own a very expensive smartphone or a computer or any of the material things that you thought once you possess them, now, oh yes, now I will feel happiness. And alas, your happiness probably lasted a few hours with the thing. And then the thing becomes just a part of your life, just becomes a material part of your world. You take it for granted. You no longer sense the essence of why you desired it. And so the feminine really needs to tune into the essence of satiety, that it comes from almost from desiring something itself and having the pleasure of pursuing it rather than actually achieving it. All right, we have reached the point of closing for this reading. I'm going to close with the oracles for the divine masculine and feminine, that they are in union in regards to. Yesterday, I closed out with a healing process, and I might do that sometimes. It's something that I will do in personal readings if you want to book a personal reading. So for that information, please go to pearlsprayers.com. The links are all below. You can click support, send me a gratuity for this reading. I'm trying to get a car. I can use all the support I can get right now, $5, please, anything. And then there's also a send me a deck button you can find there. You can book. There are every single type of reading that I do, because I design these spreads, the obstacles removed, release and rebuild, etc. Those are all available as personal readings on the site. They can be viewed as pre-recorded or virtually. We can do over Zoom for those that are over $30. However, in the new year, all those personal readings will all be pre-recorded. The pricing is going to be a little bit different. They'll all be pre-recorded. And then if you want to have a virtual session, it will be twice the cost that it is now, just because of my time, because I'm also a musician. So if you want to get in the virtual session, you have now until Christmas to do so. You can also gift any of the services to anyone. And if you need a discount, I do work with people. If you need help, just go to my email, let me know, and we'll figure something out. Okay, so that is available. You can find me 6 days a week on TikTok doing mini readings. I will do live readings occasionally. I would say I'm trying to do it like at least 3 times a week. It doesn't always work out, but I am always available for personal readings live and free on Sundays with Grace Strega on Instagram. We do a little TikTok first, and then we head over to Instagram for about an hour and a half, and we try to read as many people as we can over there. So join us on Sunday around noon Pacific Coast time if you would like to participate in that. And then I will see you tomorrow for Tell Me Everything. And Friday is Release and Rebuild. Okay, now we can finish. The twins are in alignment in this energy right now of the mentor. This is passing on wisdom. and refining a student's character. So they're no longer in this position where they are not able to allow the student to move on to the role of master. So there was a little bit of time where I think that they were keeping each other dependent upon one another, um, for healing, for learning, and they have let go of that. They have started to really be now mentors themselves, and they are passing on this wisdom to one another without withholding. Saint Catherine of Alexandria is here. This is the marriage card. It was in reverse. I haven't seen this card in a long time. It came up actually a lot around last year, around this time. 8:44 on the clock, 8 people in the room. Saint Catherine is here to support you. I think the Hierophant energy being the block for the masculine energy is a block for both people. The fear of the constraints, the former constraints, if this was something that was experienced by both of you in the past, and just commitment issues, any commitment issues you might have, keeping commitments to yourself, etc. Saint Catherine is here to help you with those. She'll support you, and you can set up a devotion to her. Actually, there's novenas you can pray to Saint Catherine about marriage. That might help you. You are getting the dreams card. So there is probably telepathic communication. There's definitely dreaming going on. You're sharing the dream space or experiencing each other in the dream space. This is also about dreams coming true, things coming to pass. It's a time to give rather than to take right now. So I would say kick up the generosity knob a little bit, each one of you. Let the other one know that you want to come into this union. There is a need for you both to have confidence. And so just give indication of this. And even though you're like, well, I need them to do it for me, just do it. Whoever does it first, who cares? It doesn't matter. Does it matter? Does it matter? If you are doing this with a person who is not your twin, and you're like, well, how do I know they're my twin? Well, there's a lot of different ways you can know that. All of those ways come from you, not me. But basically, the energy that you hear me read, however close that energy is to your person. So, for instance, if your person is here and you hear the divine masculine is not choosing any other options, not sleeping with anyone else, not engaging in third-party energy at this time, but you know that the person that you're with is doing that, that person is most likely a catalyst for you on the twin flame journey, but they are not a twin. They are a soulmate or a karmic partner that you're meant to learn something from. So I don't remember why I said that. Was talking about your twin, giving to your twin. Oh, yeah. Yeah. If your person is the person that you're supposed to be with or that you want to end up with or however you want to look at it, and you tell them that first before they told you, where's the problem in them? So just go for it. Dragon Spirit. Truth transcends illusion. I'm actually going to read this one. This is card 22 from the Spirit Animal Oracle. Dragonfly Spirit is here to remind you of the wisdom and truth available at all times in the hidden realms. Just as Dragonfly catches your eye with its reflective wings and body, Dragonfly Spirit appears to tell you to pay attention to the truth beyond the illusion and recognize the insights that come seemingly out of nowhere, peeking through from behind the veil. In the realm of spirit, there is far more wisdom than you can perceive with your senses, and there is a deep knowing that you are not separate or alone, for a higher power recognizes you and loves you beyond measure. Fears dissipate as you realize you are embraced by the nurturing force that is everywhere, always in communication with you. Alighting when you are preoccupied, Dragonfly Spirit offers this message. You exist in unity with all, including the protective spirits who share their wisdom, and you are being nudged along the path your soul needs to travel to have the experience it craves. Love exists in many forms, and sometimes we overlook it when we don't recognize a particular form. Pay attention to the signs now. They remind you that each of us have inspired dreams seamlessly sewn into the fabric of the invisible world. And there is a great consciousness that exists in these seemingly empty spaces guiding us on our journey. Open to the truth, letting the wisdom of the hidden realms inform you, providing insights your conscious mind overlooks. Beautiful. All right. And then we are getting I keep my own counsel. Let's see what this one is about. I keep my own counsel. I mean, I do feel that this is about the two of you not necessarily letting a lot of other people weigh in on your trajectory here. This is number 16. Ma'at, as a living principle, is the embodiment of order. And in living this principle, our daily experience becomes a personification of fairness, truth, and balance to circumvent chaos through actions that are just. Just being the key word as it is defined by an unbiased equilibrium. To die is to stop living, but to stop living is something entirely different than dying. Chinese proverb. In the Egyptian Book of the Dead, when a soul enters the underworld of Duat, the heart is placed on a scale to be weighed against the feather of Ma'at as the measure for the actions and inactions of their lifespan. Before the heart can be weighed, the deceased would have to recite the 42 negative confessions of Ma'at as taken from the papyrus of Ani. What was not done would have equal bearing to what was done. Justification of the life lived being perceived by how closely the soul aligned with Ma'at's law of harmony. This goes on for quite a while. Let me just grab the end here. The consolation of keeping one's own counsel comes when the idealized human understands that the mysteries of fate and the manifestations of dreams both spring from the same well, the all-seeing, all-knowing, interconnected mind that is present in every myth and memory. Contrast constructs consciousness, and consciousness, like a rubber band once stretched, never returns to its prior dimensions, usefulness being found not in what is no more, but rather what is. All right. And then we have Vision Quest. Seek. This is the shamanic medicine for the two of you. And I mean, it is just sort of that energy of seeking one another. Oh, I always do this. There we go. Sorry. Become your authentic self. Get to know the truth of who you really are and what you are capable of. Don't measure yourself by the deeds and words of others, which is also ringing true for me with the I keep my own counsel card. And you are entitled to your own preferences and opinions. Speak up. Become the quester of your vision. Where and how is your decision. Meet your guide with their protection. Heal your wounds and change direction. So I just really feel that you need to be authentic and allow yourselves to embrace the journey. Here is the theme for the week that you need to work on in terms of obstacles. This is the Devil card from the Thoth Tarot, and the phallic image in this is just extreme, people. But this is those working on receiving pleasure from sacred sexual energy, not from karmic sexual energy. I'm so determined in my current lifestyle to honor this. I have been celibate for a long time and I'm ready to go, but I am absolutely not interested in karmic sensuality. I want sacred sexuality. So I really am not planning to cross that line unless I feel a lot of loving connection with someone. I definitely need an emotional bond. And so to receive pleasure in that way, I must have that. That's very important for me. And so I feel like that is an encouraged state for the twins, that we are allowed to enjoy pleasure. We are allowed to receive it, but we want to do it in such a way that honors. We had that beautiful description of the devil and the lover's card to take with us to apply when we're thinking about this card. Stay in that confronting and recognizing addictive behavior, and don't allow a bold move towards the person that you want to be with to pull you back into that bondage. Maintain those healthy boundaries so that you can have the healthy foundation for relationships that you're truly desiring. I hope that helps you today. I'm going to close now and get ready for, well, I'm going to take the puppers out, but then I got to get ready for rehearsal. And we always end up doing production also, so I'll probably do that too. And I'm freaking hungry. I hope my divine masculine gets home soon, takes me to brunch. All right, I will see everybody tomorrow here on Tuned In Tarot for the Tell Me Everything spread. Very soon, there will be slightly different way of doing the Tell Me Everything spreads. Not the way they look, but access to them. I'm going to start having those spreads be part of, if you subscribe on my website for like a small amount just to become a supporter, you'll have access to Thursday and Saturday's readings. But for now, they're still available. So take advantage of that tomorrow, and I will see you very soon here on Tuned In Tarot. Take care and have the best day, everybody. Good to see you, Sunshine.